watched Batman Dark Knight Rises the other day. I'm offended by the fact that you don't like Bane.
You don't like Bane? Did we talk about this last week?
Bane's miscast. Bane is freaking like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And here, do you know how tall Tom Hardy is?
Yeah, he's really short.
He's like 5'6".
What's the problem here?
Robert Downey Jr. is short as shit too.
He needs a box.
He's on platforms when he's next to Gwyneth Paltrow.
But he's not playing the Hulk.
No, he's playing Iron Man.
That's because he's cast correctly.
I mean, Hugh Jackman, everyone says is cast correctly, but Wolverine's supposed to be really short.
He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine's supposed to be like 5 something.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about comic book. It's just...
Anyway, this is Cartridge Blast Gamers, episode 36. This is November 14th, 2017. I'm John.
I'm Jonah.
I'm Carmine.
Thanks for listening and or watching. You can
watching.
I said that last year too. Or last year.
Oh my God, what's happening?
I said that last week. Anyway,
we're falling through a trap.
Help us. Thanks for listening and or watching. You could be watching, but you'll have to invent that word first.
I'm pretty sure you just did.
I did. It's called listening and watching and eating nachos at the same time. If you do that, you're watching.
The Watching sounds like a horror movie.
It does. Yeah. I'm sure it will be within like 3 years. The Watching.
Somebody just comes across the podcast.
You know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that we're going to get so bad with abbreviations and like actual like written language that it's just going to come out, and that's going to be like the norm. Like The Watching is going to be how you say things.
I'm pretty sure their priority is like a movie called The Watching.
Yeah, it sounds like a thing. It sounds like a real thing, but it's not.
Anywho,
we got way too off tangent on something.
No, we're still on topic. We're fine here. I think.
All these topics. Watching.
You can watch or listen to this on SoundCloud, iTunes, or any other app of your choice that allows podcasting.
Like Google Play.
Like Google Play, which is something that is fairly new to us.
G-Play, as the kids
and yet
call
it's
it.
Old now because we signed up for a couple of months ago. How has that been doing, actually?
I don't know.
Why aren't you people listening? We put our hearts and souls into this.
I'm telling you, you got to put a ticker on the video.
Like a heart ticker?
No, like SoundCloud / Cartridge Blast, like going across each video.
And then have random...
Because we don't talk about it on every single topic.
And have random news
alerts.
It's
like we're talking about it at the beginning, but I don't think when we get to the topic, you start out like when we start talking about the topic, not the random stuff beforehand. So the audio listeners are only going to be the only ones that understand that you could go to XYZ. Well, actually, you do it on the last video, right?
I do it on the last video.
Do you cut out the last video? So
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on
my mood,
depending how well it's
how well you want it to do.
So 1 out of every 3 videos that people actually watch,
the podcast information is getting out there.
Exactly.
However, it's always in the description.
But nobody looks at the descriptions.
Well, that is a crime to all.
It's true.
It is true.
So maybe the next time that we talk about the Super NES Classic, we make sure that that's the last topic. Because we're going to start with the first topic. We're doing this all wrong. This is why.
Or we just throw up the entire podcast, every video on YouTube. We just title it differently.
The whole video?
Yeah. Every single day. We just Friday, Saturday, and Monday we'll put up
the same video.
With different titles.
I mean, we could always just do this like the one long form and do timestamps.
Yeah.
Like we used to do.
But then we cry when we're like, we only had 3 views.
That's true too.
Why did we only have 3 views? Because we have to cut the topics in half. No one cares about that topic. Why not? Because they're mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, welcome to the behind the scenes of Cartridge Blast.
That's true.
Thought process.
We kind of just jumped right into this.
So what's everybody playing?
I play Mario still.
How is it?
Yet?
No, I have not beat it yet. I just beat the food level, which is cool.
The food level?
Yeah, everyone's a fork. All the people in the world is a fork.
There's a joke
there a
somewhere,
spoon?
somewhere in that.
I can't recall there being a spoon anymore.
Because I didn't want to have spooning lead to forking.
Yeah, no.
He beat me to it. Like,
you
by
can't,
that much.
Dude. I knew where you were going.
He beat me by 10 seconds. Like 10 seconds.
Nintendo thought ahead. They didn't want any of that.
They got to keep it E friendly. Or no, what is this? Rated E?
I'm pretty sure
10?
It's N16.
N16. Rated M for mature.
I'm pretty sure like 25 years from now, they'll start digging into really like everything Nintendo means, and it's going to be like this whole big thing like they do with Disney.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bunch of subliminal messaging in these games.
If you play Mario backwards, it's really just the spawn of Satan.
That's not inaccurate.
You're like, actually, now that I think about it.
ORAM.
ORAM?
Mario backwards.
Sounds like Latin for Satan.
Or ORAM. Would the I be silent?
Or
This is a weird topic. Anyway, what else you playing, Jonah?
I'm playing Mario. What else do I have to play?
Anything but Mario.
I played Destiny still a little. I haven't played the Prestige raid yet.
Did you do any factionality stuff?
I did. I didn't get a complete set of anything.
Yeah, I've gotten 4 packages. I haven't played that much, and all I want is either the complete set of armor, which I don't really care about at this point. I want the freaking, what's the auto rifle from Future War called? The minute?
The number.
The number.
The minute.
The number.
Kill you in a minute.
I want that auto rifle because I hear it's really good, and I just have not gotten it yet.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm upset.
You know, Christmas is coming. If you're
I'm still not
nice and
gonna
you
get
ask
it.
Santa, he might bring one.
Because I can't even buy it. What are good at microtransactions there if you can't buy the stuff that you want?
I mean, we're going down going down the rabbit hole.
I'm giving you a toss up, Jonah.
Going down
to
a
pull it
dark
down
path.
and be like, speaking of microtransactions.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Wait, hold on. We're not there yet.
Wait, what did John play?
Oh, I don't play games.
I was
They're
playing-
scared. They're scary.
I was playing Horizon. What's the name of the expansion?
Frozen
should know.
Wilds.
Frozen Wilds. That's it.
You played it.
Like it a lot so
Frozen
far.
berries.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Game of the Year, 2017. Over Mario or Persona, whatever Jonah's gonna say.
Actually, that's a full topic we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, it's going to be a third topic. Are you excited for that debate?
That topic's going to have all our information, so you'll be able to go.
So make sure you tune into
to our
that video.
SoundCloud.
And newsflash, Call of Duty, I still suck at.
Yeah.
I cannot get good at multiplayer.
Yeah, me too. I don't
love the
play
campaign, but I get my butt kicked.
Are you still playing Ghosts?
No, I might go back to that though. I actually enjoy it.
I know you're very excited to get that again.
It was fun. I had a lot of good times. The problem is that there's just nobody there right now.
Hello.
It's a
Anybody else?
town.
Hey.
You're both beating my mind
You're off your
processing
game.
like just by like nanites of a second.
Ooh.
But yeah, no,
Did you play Zombies?
not yet. I really should. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Isn't that like the whole selling point?
Yeah, that was
This
the
game?
big thing.
What
Zombie mode.
The campaign in
zombies?
zombie
I mean,
mode.
zombies is in every Call of Duty now.
But this is different.
This is the zombies.
This is the
Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
ending boss.
Hitler Youth zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm playing the SNES Classic still.
Oh.
I played a little Red Dead Redemption.
That's not an NES Classic.
It is if you hack it.
You kind of jump from an NES Classic to
Well,
Red
the
Dead.
NES Classic is one thing. I just want to, let you know this because I'm going to spend more time talking about the SNES Classic. So I just kind of give you a little bit of, hey, I'm playing this as well.
So one of you have started with, hey, I'm playing Red Dead, but I'm also playing NES Classic, and this is
No, if you
Normal people would. I'm different.
Anyway, what do you play on the NES Classic before we get side-railed more?
Pretty much everything. You know what's awesome?
Everything.
Yeah.
At once.
What's great
It's got, like, the
is
screens.
see,
Hacker screens.
I know you mentioned it
It's
before.
like the Matrix.
Yeah.
You mentioned.
Sorry.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I thought that was me. I thought I was the wrong that couldn't get out anything. Anyway, you were mentioning before the podcast that you're having trouble finding the motivation to play these games and stuff like that. But that's what I like about the SNES Classic, and I have a lot of collective discs that have a lot of games on them, like PS2, PS3. They have all the collections from Capcom and Atari, stuff like that. I like that because it gives you a little sample of all these different fun games you can play. Like, I've been playing Super Punch-Out. It's just a fun game to go in there and try to fight these. It's just a cool game. You can jump in, jump out. Plus, they have save states now, so you get a certain distance, you can save it, move on to another game. I was playing Castlevania 4, which is a real fun game. F-Zero. Like I said, I've been playing everything. A little bit of everything.
Dabbling,
exactly. I didn't play... The only things I didn't touch were, Secret of Mana, because that's... I want to wait for my wife. We'll play that co-op together.
Did you play Final Fantasy yet?
No, like I said, it's just... I like the games I can kind of just dabble in real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to kind of sit down and play the story. Like Mario RPG, I didn't get it to. Super Mario, I didn't play because I played the heck out of that as a kid, and probably 3 years ago I beat it again, so I didn't... jump into that yet, but Star Fox, F-Zero as well, but Star Fox 1, Star Fox 2, everything on that thing is awesome. It's just a fun little thing, but I've been playing that mostly because, like I said, you can kind of just jump in, jump out, and you're not dedicated. As far going into Red Dead, I didn't have time to really get into it, so I played the beginning of it, kind of got the gist of it. It seems cool. I like the gameplay of it. And so that's pretty much all I had time for.
That's a lot of fun.
Hardcore Red Dead fans are going to be all up on you for not going through that. Just the beginning.
I don't know if they were one of the first to do it, but like you were mentioning, like just a simple mechanic of hey, you just have your horse kind of like go along somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
it
was
like,
one of the first westerns I've played in a
Yeah.
long time, and it's neat because the mechanics of getting on a horse, and most of it's like, okay, you're gonna ride along this
somebody,
person,
yeah.
so all you have to do is tap X, and then you'll just your horse will just magically kind of
Yeah, I hope
follow.
they do away with the whole tapping X thing. Like for when you're not following somebody, because you kind of have to continuously tap X.
Yeah, you kind of have to be like,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But it's nice that it's there, and you
Yeah.
can like hold it, and you'll be there, and it's not like you're constantly like, wait, what did you say? What did you say? Come back.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I like the game, but I probably won't beat it. Probably not.
Take your time with it. Like I said, I played it over the course of like 6 to 8 months. Like I just, periodically when I had nothing else to play or I was in the mood to play it, I would sit down and play it.
Yeah. Problem is I have a huge backlog, but I definitely kind of want to
Red is
get
really
into
good.
that because it is fun.
It's
for
going
what
to be
it is.
really hard to top Red Dead.
For the sequel. Yeah. It's
I'm worried they're going to go to Grand Theft Auto.
well, people are commenting on some of the Red Dead stuff, especially the videos I was watching. They're saying that they're hoping Rockstar doesn't go I kind of passed over a really awesome story just for a chance at another Grand Theft Auto online
Yeah.
situation.
Well,
I mean, it prints
and
money.
like just from the small bit that you've seen, like it's interesting because like John Marston's a bad dude, like he has a troubled past, but you don't hate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a likable
Yeah.
character there, and I'm worried there's not going to be a likable character in Red Dead Redemption 2.
I mean, you look at the character and the voice acting for him is
Yeah.
not menacing. It's not like Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood. It's not. He's just like, hey, how are you, ma'am? How are you?
Get
nice
off
to see you.
my porch.
Yeah, he's not like, get off my lawn, and like shooting everybody. But and the way you can play it is you can either, I guess there's like a good and bad
Yeah,
sort
there's
of
like a Paragon system.
right,
Yeah.
and but from what I was playing, I was kind of doing all the right things, so he just seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Just with obviously his past a little trouble.
You learn more about his past as you
Yeah.
go.
But so that's what I've been playing really. So it's been good. It's been good. I've been getting a lot of playtime in. But as far as the Estes Classic, I've been hitting those classics up. So it's been a good time. And that's all I have to say about that. Let's get into some topics. So EA controversy and Titanfall.
Well, there's controversy, and then there's the Titanfall thing.
Yeah, it's
There's
two
not
separate,
controversy.
two separate topics.
Titanfall.
It's EA
some
controversy
and
and
then
Titanfall.
And then they bought Respawn.
It's two stories related to EA,
No, it's
but
one-
not related to
It's
each
all
other.
melted into each other.
So Jonah,
Yeah.
what happened? What's the controversy with EA and Battlefront? I almost did it again.
You did. You
Battlefront
did do
2.
it.
Okay, so with Battlefront 2, there's a lot of people are upset that you can't just play the game and get the champions, like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and the other guys, fairly quickly. You'd have to play 40 hours to get enough credits to unlock the two heroes or villains, whatever. I don't know what they're called in the game.
Heroes.
Yeah. And that's a significant amount of time.
That's and this is we're obviously talking about this after their most recent update.
Yeah,
changes.
So that was the
the
initial thing.
big initial thing was it was taking how many hours? 40 hours to
40
unlock
hours.
people like Luke and Vader.
Yeah, and I think that initial the time sync was bad, but I think it was made worse that people could just buy them straight out, so
Yeah.
you don't have to. So it was, and it's not a cosmetic buy. It's pay to win basically. It gives you an edge.
Because that's the thing.
gameplay.
Like the way I was understanding it too is that like you're buying these packs, like these card packs or loot boxes or whatever, and there was like different like rarities almost that had different abilities, and I don't know what they changed about that or not, but yeah. So this is pretty much behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Like you can actually buy these heroes if you don't put in 40 hours.
Yeah, you can buy them.
Yeah. So.
And they were pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many credits, but or how much you have to spend in like real money to buy them, but it was a good amount.
Substantial.
Yeah, and after the update, they cut it by 75%, so now it's a 10-hour time sync, but there's still an issue where you could just buy the character straight out.
I mean, yeah, they're not going to win that battle.
Yeah.
I mean, they've decided they're going to do microtransactions. They're not going to change it.
Yeah, and it's just funny because EA's response on Reddit, which is the most downvoted comment in the history of Reddit, was that
Right.
they made it this way because they wanted the player to have a sense of accomplishment and pride in unlocking these characters.
Yeah, and I guess that was like one of the big flaws that Battlefront, the first one, had, was there was nothing to like grind for. There was nothing to kind of like go after. But I think this was just not what like. And looking at like the Overwatch example now, Overwatch, you have the characters, but like all the skins you have to unlock. So it probably would have been a better idea to be like, you know, you have Vader with a different color on or a different type of armor or
weird, though.
or
Camouflage Darth Vader coming out.
Valentine's Day.
Luke, or Luke, instead of having Return of the Jedi Luke, you have alternate costumes along the lines of like A New Hope Luke or Empire Strikes Back Luke, like stuff like that. You could probably buy or work towards.
The Joker.
I was about to say.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be something. I spend money on that. Different voice lines. Oh, that'd be really good. Oh, you DC would never go for it.
Oh, that's what
Disney
I mean. Like,
Marvel.
Yeah.
But that'd be something. For those that don't know, Mark Hamill voices the Joker in the animated series, and if you don't know that, I'm surprised. And that's where that connection came from. But so obviously, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the year of microtransactions.
Yeah.
And we have seemed to have lost the battle. Because 2K, everybody is pretty much saying that they're on board with these microtransactions. Ubisoft is on board with it. They've made a lot of money off of it. This doesn't seem like it's going away.
Yeah, here's the thing though. It's this has been a conversation for like the past couple of months. Like everyone's been talking about it. But it's always been like two sides of people like, it's not that big a deal. In like Shadow of War, you can keep going, you can beat everyone, you can get all the legendary orcs or whatever without paying anything. Yeah. Even though there's a lot of issues with their.
But you can get like the exotic ones, right?
I have no idea.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, I have no idea. But with this one, everyone knows that this is bad. Yeah. There's no two sides to it. EA messed up, and there's such a fury that they immediately cut down the price by 75%. Yeah. Like this is, I think this was on like the.
Well, not the price. It was the
credit
time,
cost.
The time, yeah.
Yeah. And
it is a credit cost. It's not based on time.
Well, the amount of time needed to get the credits was 40 hours. Yeah, it was 10 hours.
They were like, oh, by the time you beat the game, you would have had enough credits.
And that's on average, right? That's on average, thinking about like how much experience you would get based on a game.
Yeah. And I just lost my train of thought.
But it's
it was. There was so much.
That's all you needed.
There was so much conversation about EA and Battlefront on Reddit. There was actually a bunch of posts on the subreddit for all, like the front page Reddit basically. And EA was like the bad guy, and it was a meme all day. It was a meme all day. It was hilarious.
Yeah, well, they're sitting out boasting about it, and then Twitter was like, whoa. Everyone was just like boom, boom, and then they're like, no, we're just kidding. We chopped that in 75%, no problem.
We were just seeing how far we could push.
Those was jokes.
But that's like what it is now. It's becoming a point now. They're going to keep trying. They're going to see how far they can push the envelope, because we've had this kind of stuff happen. They're trying to push and see how far they can go with things like even like NBA, Forza has microtransactions that were kind of questionable or some people didn't like. Again, though, it comes down to like the hardcore players of these games, like Destiny. They're going to still pay for these microtransactions potentially. Mm-hmm. And it's because they want to support the game, or they're going to be playing it anyway. But I mean, I think there's a difference between like with Destiny, like I'll buy like the emotes. I think that's different. Hey, make fun of me all you want, but
hey,
but it's just something like I play it enough that I wanted the ability to be able to make a neon table and then flip it out because I'm upset.
But if you think about
express myself.
If you think about it, that is like an actual game extra. It's not like you're getting Darth Vader that should just be there. You
exactly.
know what I mean?
No, and that's the thing, and that's where I think they push the envelope too much. Again, I think they could have done a different skin or like a different lightsaber color, or give them an emote. Like you go and you slash like 25 droids or something like that. You should be able to like throw your lightsaber up in the air and catch it weird or something, or do like a dance. Yeah. But I guess it comes down to like how far they're willing to go, I guess, with the franchise.
Or like a perk where if you die, you become back as a murderous Force ghost.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
actually. But we kind of talked about this before the podcast, but I think it's getting to the point now where it's like, okay, listen, we get it. Inflation is catching up with us. Yeah. Let's just make the game $75 for the base game. Yeah. And then $100 Gets you the full damn game. There's no more paying nothing. You get the whole game.
I think that would work if EA wasn't making billions and billions and billions of dollars every year off the microtransactions. And some of that stuff does come from like the FIFA and Madden, like Ultimate Team packs and whatnot. But a lot of it still does come from things like Battlefront, Battlefield, and stuff like that.
So it's working for them, but for this instance, like you said, I think the microtransactions, if they're going to stay, let's make it, like you said, extra. Yeah. Something that you're...
Just cosmetic.
Just
exactly. All cosmetic. Like make a yellow lightsaber instead of a red lightsaber. You know, like something like that. Make
a lightsaber pack.
Make it so that you have the ability that Darth Vader could use a double lightsaber like Maul.
Yeah.
Like just and people are probably like flipping out that I'm saying that. Like Darth Vader would never use a double lightsaber like Darth Maul.
Or make like a thing where you have different sizes. Like you can get a thing where you have a giant Darth Vader or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like make the game, make it interesting. Don't just play
big head Darth Vader.
Yeah, or like a Yoda-sized Darth Vader.
That'd be hilarious.
Or Yoda-sized Maul.
A kid Darth Vader. That'd be funny. Like a chibi Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Roaming around. We're good. But anyway, I think the main purpose of it, or the main idea should be, is just that, like, just make it cosmetic. Like, I don't know why they keep pushing the envelope with, like, they got to put characters behind a paywall or put weapons behind a paywall.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're testing their luck, and let's see how far we can push it. Let's see how much money we can actually make before people be like, no, we're not gonna do it, because this game didn't come out yet. As of now that we're recording this,
but I think it's 3 days early. 3 days early, people are playing it.
Yeah, but
EA Origins, right?
Yeah.
But it's getting
access.
It's getting bad press. I mean, they always say there's no bad press, or there is. You know, bad press is still press, whatever. But that's, you know, this is a game where, you know, they put their heart and soul into an actual campaign, and they spent a lot of money on this. So they still want people to buy it. But if it's getting all this, you know, negative feedback.
Yeah.
I was gonna say negativity, but then I was like, nah, negative feedback. It's gonna hurt them. But then again, it might not. But that's the thing. That's the gamble. You know, you hear all this talk on Twitter and these gaming forums, and it's like, yeah, it sounds bad, but in the end, is it really bad?
People are still going to buy it.
Yeah,
people are still going to buy it. They're not going to stick to their guns.
The thing with
because the Star Wars movie is going to come out and be like, I want to play a Star Wars game. Let me go buy Battlefront, and it'll be on sale for $40.
Here's what you got to do.
Last time,
get yourself Battlefront 2 for Xbox, original Xbox. Put in your Xbox One. It's got better graphics already, and it's probably backwards compatible.
I don't think it is.
It will. Yeah, everything that goes into an Xbox, especially an Xbox One X, gets
better graphics in relation to itself.
Is Battlefront 2 an Xbox? It's not a 360 game, right? It's a
regular Xbox.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. They didn't do all that yet.
No.
See, what you want to do is get yourself an Xbox, right?
Original Xbox.
Original Xbox.
And so I don't think that's on the list. I'm assuming EA is probably like, no. You cannot play that right now.
No. To get that out of anyone's head.
Sales die down.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about, the list for the OG Xbox game for this month. No.
9.
We need the money. You'll kill us. Because that game was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I still consider that the only Battlefront 2. I mean, with that, it was awesome. How the hero-villain thing worked, if you haven't played it, is depending on what level you're playing on, that'll have a specific hero or villain. Depending if you're on, I don't know, Tatooine, you could play as Boba Fett and Han Solo.
It was really weird that on Naboo, you pretty much had Boba Fett as one of the heroes. Like, you could get like the card for Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah.
And have him fight on Naboo. I was like, that is odd.
But I mean...
You're messing with the canon.
Yeah. And then you're playing on Hoth, and obviously you had Darth Vader and Luke. But it's cool. Like, you actually earn those in the game. And, you, like, depending on who's getting the points, blah, 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 you get to become that character. Now, that should just be in this base game itself and just add, like you said, the very cosmetic stuff. So, I mean, final thoughts on that before we switch into EA's better news, I guess?
Well, with these microtransactions, these companies won't learn a lesson. They'll just learn to do something different.
Yeah. So
they'll try to chip you a different way. And then you won't fight back as much on this one until the next controversy, and then they'll do something else. For me, so they'll never go backwards.
For me personally, I thought I was actually going to get this game, but so now I don't have any interest.
I don't either. And it was the same for Mordor. Like I know that Mordor is like a hit or miss. I know Mordor is a good game, and then at this point, there's so much out right now that I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, even now, like you're just saying microtransaction in general, but compared to what they're doing with this game versus Shadow of Mordor, like I feel like Shadow of Mordor is an actual it's still a full game you can get without worrying about.
Yeah.
Like this, I feel like they're locking you in, be like, hey.
And primarily it's a multiplayer game. Like there's still a campaign that I guess is like they're saying is like what 6 hours, 7 hours campaign. I believe they're clocking it at. But yeah, the multiplayer is the big part of it. That's where you're gonna be spending a bulk of your time.
I mean, it's the problem is like I'm interested in what the campaign has to offer, like story wise and stuff like that. But it's like in the end, there is YouTube. Someone's gonna upload it. YouTube. You can watch the entire cinematic. What's going on if you really want to skip the game. So. It's not like a do or die sort of situation here. And that's, hey, listen, make a game, do the right things, and it'll sell well. I mean,
you know what game I thought was doing the right things with their microtransactions? Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2. Now,
Electric Boogaloo.
What has happened to Titanfall 2?
Cuckoo? What?
Well, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Continue.
I've lost all reason to go on
Titanfall.
Until you explain yourself.
So, Respawn has been purchased by EA.
No.
Yeah.
They did it.
They did. They made it. They made it to big time.
For a deal a little over 400 or close to 450 million.
Wow.
Must be
it's
nice.
Pocket change.
Yeah.
Piece
Nothing compares to
So the way the timeline kind of broke down with this is that I think it was like a Korean company or something like that. I think it was like Nexus or Nexon or something, whatever the name was.
Exxon?
They were the ones that did the mobile game for Titanfall too. So they made a deal to buy Respawn. When EA has a clause in their agreement with Respawn that if some other company wanted to buy them, EA had the ability to counteroffer them. And this is what happened. So, based on Kotaku, what Jason Schreier said on Kotaku, the timeline pretty much was Nexus or whatever the publisher that wanted to buy them made the offer. EA closed Visceral. And then...
just threw that in there.
Yeah. EA closes Visceral.
Speaking of Star Wars.
And then goes and buys, or counteroffers, and then buys Respawn. Now, there's been some back and forth and some stories going back, or some rumors flowing around that the Visceral Star Wars game had more time dedicated to it. And with less time of what Respawn was working with, the Respawn game is evidently shaping up to be a better game with less time than what Visceral had. So supposedly, that was one of the main reasons why they decided to shut down Visceral's game. And pretty much make it so they can buy Respawn. Because they're already working on a Star Wars game.
They just do more microtransactions in the game.
I don't know.
It's getting better as we go every day.
Supposedly the Respawn game is like an action game. So like fingers crossed it's like a Force Unleashed type game. Something a little bit more adventure-y.
Maybe.
Or maybe like Star Wars Jedi Power Battles.
That was fun.
I don't know what that is.
Jedi Power Battles.
Hey, listen. Jedi Power Battles is a fun-ass game.
It was fun.
It was just played by the PS1 graphics.
Yeah.
And Maul was impossible. Well, he wasn't impossible. He was really
Maul's
hard.
impossible no matter what game you put him in.
He was awesome, though. It's a fun game. Never played that game?
Never played that game.
The door's over there.
I'm going.
Thank you.
See ya.
But so I guess because it was doing well, and I guess they don't blame Respawn for what happened with Titanfall 2 because of where the release window was. And supposedly during this announcement, pretty much it was kind of leaked that they are working on Titanfall 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Titanfall 3 is coming still.
What a surprise!
To a microtransaction near you.
Here's the thing, though, and this is where we can kind of start getting into a little bit about the conversation. Like, it's good for like Vince Appella and the studio and stuff like that because they're gonna get a payday and they're gonna still be able to work.
Mm.
So Vince Appella's done this twice now, pretty much. Where he got fired from Activision Infinity Ward, he won a lawsuit, got money so he could actually go and make Respawn. And now Respawn's getting bought up by EA for a nice lump sum of money. If for some reason Respawn gets shut down because like, oh, Titanfall's not doing it well anymore, we're going to go get other studios, whatever, Vince can still take his money that he has and go build another studio and work with another publisher.
This is how he gets promoted.
Yeah, like it's... But it's like one of those things that like that team has made, and then a lot of that team is still the team that made Call of Duty Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the formula, they have the talent to make awesome games. And Titanfall 2's campaign was great, the multiplayer is great. I mean, it wasn't that vastly different than the first multiplayer, but it's still a solid game.
Yeah, which I feel, I don't know. still opinion that I think the beta failed that game.
I think part of it, yeah, because like we talked about it a while ago, is just the fact that, what did I say it was? It was too slow.
It was too.
They slowed it down too much.
I thought
slow. I think.
Yeah.
I thought the beta was a fun thing to do for a while. I'm not a big Titanfall fan. I haven't really played the games, but I played the beta and I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
So
the tech test, they called it, the first, like, I think they did 2 weekends or something like that, or a couple days, whatever the case was. The first one that they did was just, it was so much slower compared to what they did with the first game.
Yeah.
And then the second tech test that they did, they sped it up to like normal.
And that was only like
Titanfall.
a week apart or something.
Yeah, it was only like
pretty
a week
fast.
apart. All they did was just speed it up. I guess they were testing out what worked better, but the faster paced gameplay actually ended up being the right call.
Yeah.
But it could have been. I mean, the beta could have had something to do with it. I think at the core of it all, that game suffered because it was placed literally. Battlefield 1 came out 1 week. Titanfall 2 came out the next week. Call of Duty came out the week after that. That's the way that it lined up.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how the release was. And I always say that it's like in like the realm of politics, you had the Republicans and the Democrats, all right, and then you had Titanfall 2, which is the little independent party, and all the and EA and you put it, and EA was probably like, all right, we're gonna put Titanfall 2 out there just to take votes away from Call of Duty.
Oof.
It kind of worked because Call of Duty had a sales slump that year, but unfortunately, I feel like Titanfall 2 took the brunt of that bulk.
Yeah.
Of loss than anybody else. But the great thing I loved about Titanfall 2 as well is that all the content, game modes, maps, all free, and they had cosmetic microtransactions.
See.
Banners, Titans, the way the Titans look and everything like that, colors, camos, all that other jazz. Like, that's the way that they wanted to actually do it.
That's why EA bought them. They're going to change that right
yeah,
away.
we'll see how that is. For
Yeah.
Titanfall
Well, that
3.
was the first thing I thought was like, frick, they're going to put Titans behind paywalls. Like, they're going to put, like, actual, like, Titans in the game. You're going to have to, in order to either access them, you're going to have to play 40 hours, or you're going to have to buy them.
They'll make it 60.
Yeah, so, but there's a lot of stuff going back and forth. There was a developer, and I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I've just listened to a lot of different podcasts this
We will
this
name
week.
him Jim.
And read a lot of different stories about all this. But there was a developer that came forward. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. But he did this pretty much this tweet thread saying that it's actually the developers that come up with the microtransactions about whether or not they're going to want to have to put it in. But like the publishers say, like, hey, these are what you're sort of forecasted to make. And however you want to go about trying to make that money based on your development cost and like marketing and everything else like that, this is what is recommended based on trends, but they don't force you to put in microtransactions.
I don't know. I just feel like that's a blame game.
EA's fault. It's always EA's fault.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen.
So I said my piece. I'm personally a really big fan of Titanfall. I feel like Titanfall is really good. It was the future. It's the futuristic shooter that we deserved, not that Call of Duty stuff that we've been getting for like the last 3 years.
Right.
And it's fun. And I thought the DLC model, like I said, with the microtransactions to buy custom skins and everything, spot on. That's what we need to do, just like they do with Overwatch. Again, though, it just released at a poor time. If it released 3-4 months later, March, April, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it was just where it kind of released.
Wasn't the game's fault.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It was EA's fault.
EA's fault.
It's always EA's fault.
So, I guess EA is not a popular choice.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, final thoughts, Jonah?
No.
Cool. What do you think? Are you guys a fan of EA? Do you guys like these microtransactions? Are you excited for Battlefront 2? I don't think you are. I really do not. I was, actually. I was
played
excited.
the beta, and honestly, the beta just didn't feel good either.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. It looks great.
It looks fantastic.
But that's their selling point. It's like, hey, look, this game looks phenomenal. And we have a new campaign that's going to be canon. And it's going to be bridging the gap between whatever to whatever.
All this nonsense about that people being upset, game's still going to sell probably close to like 10 million at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I wanted to try it just because I want to try a Star Wars game.
And if you're worried about canon, just remember...
Jedi Power Battles.
Yes, do that. It's good stuff. I actually have it. We'll play that.
Okay.
But if you're worried about canon, just remember, they're making a solo film, a Han Solo film that no one ever asked for.
A solo Han Solo film?
No one.
No one asked for. So, there you go.
Sponsored by
That's
Solo
what I have
Films.
to say about that. So that GameStop Power Pass that we were talking about before, that game rental, like the used game rental, well, that's been suspended.
Yeah.
Or halted, as Jonah would say.
Halted.
It's because they're using Windows 95.
They're still on MS-DOS. And they can't. So, Jonah, give us the reason why this is halted.
So they've said they had some technical limitations with their point of sale system. So, their computers couldn't handle it, whatever was going wrong. Some people think that it could just be because, Christmas is coming and they want to get in those sales, those pre-owned game sales during Christmas. But I don't know. I was looking forward to the deal. I was gonna sign up for it, and I wish I did sign up.
Trying out. It may not be a bad idea. It's actually really. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, even when you're looking at from a rental service, like a Redbox rental service, like they still charge you per day, or per whatever the amount is. Like this would just be you'd just be able to play as many games as you want within a consecutive 6 months. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah. If you can wait, like if you're not in a rush to play the newest stuff as soon as it comes out, and you're not worried about spoilers, if you can wait, it's an awesome deal. Fantastic.
Now, do they have a new release date for these used games that you could rent?
Or is it gonna be program? Yeah, I don't know. I guess. If it's a systems problem, the sky's the limit. I don't know what they could do to fix the system, because when I was working at GameStop, I'm pretty sure that we were still running on T1. Like modems or whatever that was. Like it was not like their old computers.
They were using a TI-84.
No, I don't know what they were using, but it was like the connection wasn't always great. It was nothing like insane, but like the computers were all old. They haven't updated their tech in a long time. They've updated their POS systems a bunch, but the actual computers that they run on, I don't know. I don't know if they can handle what they're trying to do, or maybe it's a networking thing. I'm assuming a lot of that stuff takes place behind the scenes when whatever network or systems, servers or whatever they're using for it.
Yeah.
So
it's hogwash.
But
yeah, they haven't said anything about relaunching it yet. Mm-hmm. But the people that have bought it, like, because it would launch this week and there was like an up for a day or so. The people that bought the Game Pass are getting a full refund and a free pre-owned game.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish I did that early.
Just to get the free. Well, freebie. You're still on top.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about this program that's awesome. With after the 60 days, you got to pick a game that you keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. What is the stock gonna look like? Are they just gonna have those? You walk in now, you have that used bin.
Well, no.
any pre-owned
game that's on the shelf you can rent. So it's going to be a matter of people are probably going to be watching to see like the first week that a game comes out, it's probably gonna be scarce. Like a lot of new releases are gonna probably be scarce.
My question is though, like, what are we looking at in stock wise? Are we gonna have every GameStop's gonna have the same stock of these certain games? Or can I walk into GameStop like, yeah, I want to rent Grand Theft Auto 5. Will you have that? Or Uncharted 2? Will you still have that?
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to go? How far back are we going? Is it going to start from PS3, Xbox 360 on, or is it just going to be this current gen?
Based on what they're saying, it's any pre-owned game that's there. So, like 3DS, you can rent 3DS games. I'm assuming. I don't know if that's an exclusion, but...
Well, what's interesting is they've actually... they started getting in retro games in store again. Like, the NES...
and those are all pre-owned.
And 64. They all are pre-owned. So I don't know if that... How far back does that go?
When the news came out for the Power Pass, it did. I think it specifically mentioned there was like no limitation on pre-owned games. As long as it's pre-owned, you can get it.
Interesting.
So if that's the case and it doesn't exclude retro, which it might, they might just have an asterisk there.
I just hope there's
no limitations. Asterisk.
I just hope they're smart with the retro games if this is true, because what you could do is you can rent a cartridge, open it up, swap out a board for, like, say you're renting Link to the Past or something, and then Super Metroid, and then bring it back and then put like Madden 96 in there or something. But
you run into that with anything. It would happen a lot more often, even with the disc too, because you could kind of reprint something and put it on a disc if they really wanted to go that route. You probably have a certain amount of people that would go that length, but I feel like that's a lot of time and effort for not that big of a payoff. To keep a game.
The good news is, because back in the day, before everything was the Blu-ray discs, when everything was DVD discs or CD discs, it was a gamble getting a pre-owned game, because you don't know how, like, sometimes you get them and it looked like someone tried to eat the damn thing.
The Blu-rays are really they're pretty scratch resistant. It's
Yeah.
really hard to actually scratch.
I've actually had things come from Amazon or whatever else I was buying that was a disc, and the disc dislodged and ship it. And because it was a Blu-ray, though, you open up, it looks perfectly fine. Yep. It plays perfectly fine. So that is a plus. Because when I was a kid, even to this day, I treated my games perfectly. Like, I kept them in the case, whatever. I don't know. I've gotten some pre-owned games, like I said. I don't know what those people were doing with those games, but
around like a frisbee.
It's insane what people do to these things. I guess that's what happens when you're not buying your own stuff. Don't take care of it, kids. Learn responsibilities.
Don't use them as a extreme disc throwing competition.
Don't try to run it over. So, but I guess, so you're thinking that they're just going to wait a little bit towards Christmas and then unleash it and then try to get more people to come and sign up for it. Get more people in the stores during the holiday season. That way they have a better chance to sell something. Yeah. It sounds legit. Sounds like a good business.
You got to understand too that like their business is probably trying to get more towards the collectible element of it. So what this is doing is that this is potentially bringing in customers more frequently to swap out the games and to see what kind of new collectibles they have on the shelf,
right?
Or what new releases they have that they want to play day one.
Yeah.
It's just another element.
It's a good strategy.
And it's good. And I'm assuming that when they announced the strategy in this program, their stock probably jumped up because I think this is something that is good for them. In this world that we live in, where digital's slowly taking a larger chunk of the sales.
Yeah. Amazon.
And it's tempting. Like I said, at the end of the 6 months, you spend $60, you get a free pre-owned game, whatever you want. So you pretty much have unlimited access to the releases within a certain year's window, depending on the availability and stuff like that. And honestly, at GameStop, it's very rare to, after a certain point of a game being released, that you're not going to find some pre-owned titles of something that came out within the last month. But within a year period, you're spending $120 for unlimited amount of pre-owned games that you're going to play. $120 only gets you 2 brand new games.
Used.
No, just brand new games. Like if you're going to buy $60 games,
in general,
buy 2 new games, or you wait a little bit for those brand new games and you can play them for an unlimited amount of time and potentially keep it after the 6 months.
So if you're patient, you can save money.
Yeah, and it's just about being patient.
And you don't care. You don't care about collecting or getting those special editions.
Yeah,
and this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Even in that case, it's probably a good deal just because you'll play games you wouldn't consider playing.
But I mean, you look at it like from a discount perspective or anything like that. Like it beats out whatever Best Buy is going to try and discount. It beats out whatever Amazon's going to try and discount. Because for the price of 2 new release games, you can play, I don't know, as many games as your heart desires so you have time for within that time frame. Yeah. And then you keep the games afterwards and then trade it back in. You can probably trade it back in when you're done with it, get some credit to put it towards the next 6 months. Like it sells itself. It's a constant cycle, and that's why they always talk about the circle of life. This is just another thing that they're just inserting into that circle of life.
I'm surprised they didn't try something like this sooner.
This actually reminds me
I think there's a logistical problem with it, and I think the systems thing is probably
part
of that. Yeah. But there's definitely a logistical thing because they have to maintain a certain amount of stock of certain games. Like things like Madden, they're never going to run out of Madden. Grand Theft Auto at this point, there's 85 million of those games sold. I don't think they're going to run out of like things like Grand Theft Auto 5. But for instance, like Overwatch, like some of the games that hold like a higher trade value hold a higher trade value because there's limited stock of them.
Yeah.
So something like Overwatch, for a long time, you wouldn't see on a store shelf because it was constantly being played when it first came out.
Well, this is why I'm thinking back to, VHS store, or not VHS stores, but like Blockbuster rental stores, where it's like, oh, I'm here to rent this movie. Sorry, we're all out. Yeah. Like I'm worried to see like what kind of stock are we getting here.
Yeah. But again, though, we're all out for the new releases.
Most people, I don't care. Like,
I'm saying for Blockbuster, I'm saying a lot of times they would be out with the most recent stuff. That you can go down the action movie aisle and find your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Well, that was the thing, though. I mean, you had also, you still ran into certain movies like horror sections where it's like, okay, this is a 3-year-old movie. Yeah. We only have 2 copies of these. Yeah. Oh, they happen to be both out. But it's like how with gaming, people are going to try their best to try out the new games first, of course. But there's such a backlog that I still have to play. Like, I'm looking forward to whatever I'd be able to play. But it's like, what kind of variety are they going to be there? And if this thing's real popular, like, are you going to have a trouble finding it? Like, what happens if you walk in a store and be like, there's like nothing. Well, I mean, you can't say there's nothing, but say you only have one system and those games are gone.
I mean, but then there's such a wall of games. You would think that maybe you find something else that you want that you haven't tried, or maybe you've been thinking about it and then you just haven't gotten to it. So I don't know. Like for me, because I'm like one of those terrible GameStop's favorite customers who I'll buy a game new release, big. I don't want to play this right now. I trade it in for something else new, and I'm like, I kind of want to play that game again, and then I go and buy it again. Like when it's on sale.
Keep it on your shelf for a year. See what happens.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like depreciation. Like when you buy a game, GameStop only takes it back at a certain price for so long.
Yeah, you have 2 weeks to give it back.
Yeah,
in almost full price.
Yeah, and then I wait for a digital sale, and then I go buy games on digital sale, and then I'm
technically
like,
don't own them.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is good. It pushes for physical media.
Yes.
Until they find a way to rent digital games.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I wonder how bad, how much of a hit it's gonna. I don't know how much, but like how much of a hit it's going to take off of publishers with their new games and stuff like that. I guess we won't really be able to tell, but
I'm sure they have that all figured out logistic wise. But I'm sure, who knows? Maybe they even had this plan already for a year, and that's what they were trying to figure out.
Because most new games, new release games, they sell the bulk of their sales is always within the first 30 days.
Oh, yeah, that's when the hype's there, and they're like, yes! And then they're like, no, this game is not what I wanted. Damn microtransactions. I knew it. I should have looked at the thing and saw the EA thing. I knew it was going to be like that.
It says EA. That stands for microtransactions.
God darn it.
So, Jonah, what are you most excited about with this? What do you think? How much do you think you're going to use it?
Well, when I saw this, I thought that I would use it maybe like a couple times a month, like 2 or 3 times a month, just because after a game releases, usually ends up at GameStop pre-owned like after a week or 2.
Yeah.
But with this, everyone's gonna be thinking, "Oh, I want to get that new game."
Well, that's what
after a week
too.
So that game's not gonna be there probably for like a month.
That's why I don't want there to. The thing that'll hurt is if it's a waiting list, because you know how the world works these days. If people can't get instant gratification, they're gonna dump the idea.
Yeah.
So it's like I come in, I get that game. Jonah wants it. He can't get that game. Well, he goes right to Twitter. Screw this whole idea. It's bull crap. It's not working. I wanted this game. I couldn't get it.
And people listen
Where's
to
mine?
me.
And then people are gonna be like, oh my god, Jonah knows things about this. Shut it down. Kill it. Kill anyone associated with GameStop because it's bad.
The other thing to think about too is that if you're in a decent situation, you'll actually be able to go to another GameStop nearby. Hopefully it's not like miles away, but they might actually have it. Yeah. They'll be able to look it up and be like, all right, well, I'll go to this store and pick it up from there. But
yeah, well, they just closed a whole bunch of stores nationwide, so there you go.
They're not on your side.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be the biggest thing. But like I said, if they figure that out, if they have enough stock, then it shouldn't be a big deal. But I'd be the customer that's like, dude, all you have to do is take the shrink wrap off, and it's technically used. Well, help me out.
Help me help you.
You're still getting my money.
There might be some of that. I don't know.
Like, listen, I can walk out of the store now. You won't get any of my money. But if you do that, you still get my money. It works. Think about it.
Well, I think I told you guys too that when I worked at GameStop, like we would get shipment of pre-owned games, but they all came with like the seal on them still, like the actual Xbox like sticker seal that was on the side of the actual case. Like they still came on there. I don't know what the business looks like for that.
A little abracadabra.
Well, like that's the thing. Like, are these games that have been sitting there and like, oh well, let's make them pre-owned.
Yeah.
And is there some of that? Because I remember right before I was leaving, there were some newer titles within like fourth quarter that were just like that. Like they had the seals on them and everything like that. And like I said, you could always tell because the Xbox always had the seal along the one side.
Right.
So they would take them out of the plastic wrap, claim them as pre-owned, but they're really new games.
I hope they're kicking themselves in the foot right now because the biggest crime GameStop has in my eyes was the fact that when they were getting rid of their PS1, PS2 games, they literally took bulks of them and just threw them in a garbage bin. Like they weren't trying to sell them off, giving the people, they were throwing them out.
Or that's what they wanted you to see.
Now they have a vault full of them.
Exactly.
And they're going to be like, hey, surprise, look who we have again. your Jedi power battles is now used.
I wonder
And
if
you're able to be able to
get
they'll
that
do like a
Game
ship
Pass.
to home type of a thing, almost like a Netflix.
Now you're
situation.
just getting lazy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what if they don't have your title, but you can actually rent it from like the warehouse
Headquarters.
and ship it to you? Yeah, like why not?
From their vault.
That would ideally be the next step, where you can just go online to a portal and be like, "Hey, I want to rent this. Send it to me."
That'll be
They
good.
would be the next GameFly, but it would all be pre-owned games,
That does sound good. I don't know.
or they'd be pre-owned, but
Yeah.
new.
Just take the shrink wrap off. It's technically used now.
We're gonna start buying these games at a fractional cost, and we're gonna make them pre-owned. Okay.
Hey, I mean, listen. This is a great idea if that works, because then they can move on to something like that. And
Yeah.
Switch games are the ones I have a pause trying to get pre-owned because they've been in people's mouths. That was the whole thing with
you just gotta you gotta lick it too, so your scent's on it.
no.
Use hand sanitizers to put it in and put hand sanitizer on to take it out and put it back in the case.
No,
It's hard.
Turn the
it's
page,
not-
wash
it's
your
not
hands.
gonna-
Turn
it's
the
a
page,
matter of
wash
principle.
Your hands.
It's not going to affect your Switch.
It's gonna affect my state of being, my my state of mind.
It's
Oh
all right.
Jesus!
You'll
I
be-
don't know.
you'll
I
be
don't know
all
why
right.
you're fighting me on this one.
You'll be all right. I think you'll be good. Just don't get Switch games then, because they're germed.
Because they're rehashes from the last 2 decades.
It's not
Or
wrong,
they're
except Mario
used.
Odyssey is amazing. I need you to be quiet.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of ports. That's how you're right. A lot of ports on the Switch right now. That's true.
Ports. I'm like, for some reason, I'm thinking like ship port. I'm like,
No. No, there's a lot of ports on the Switch right now, but Mario Odyssey is an amazing game, and I won't have you harass it.
Speaking of Mario Odyssey, a Game of the Year nominee. Let's start talking about that. Game of the Year nomination. What are your choices? Thanks for watching.
Talking about our choices or the Game Award choices?
Yeah,
Like I thought what the topic was.
Yeah, those
Game of the Year nominee for the Game Awards coming up to a theater near you.
Which is Twitch. What are the 5, Jonah? What did Jeff Keighley announce as the contenders for the Game of the Year Awards of 2017?
Yeah, so those 5 games are Mario Odyssey,
Not a chance in hell.
Never heard of it.
Zelda Breath of the Wild,
No
Never
way.
heard of it.
Horizon Zero Dawn,
Hell yeah!
Never heard of it.
Persona 5,
I don't
Never
even
heard of
care.
it.
and PUBG.
That's
I
I
haven't
heard
played
about that.
So I've played all 4 of the 5 games.
All 4 of them.
4 of the 5 games. PUBG isn't even a game, so I'm not counting it.
You're getting people pissed off right
Going
now.
to explain yourself right now.
It's early access, it's not even
somebody's
finished.
imploding.
So it's not a full game. It's just this random.
No, I mean it's early
It's a
access.
paid demo.
It's a game, but it's just
It's a paid
not.
demo.
It's a what?
It's a paid,
Paid
demo.
demo.
paid demo.
Yeah. So I don't know. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't have so many nominations, so many categories. It's in more categories.
Well, I think
don't
even
remember which ones.
the head of the developer said that he doesn't think that it should be claimed as a Game of the Year.
Yeah,
Especially up
see?
against all the other
He knows.
Well,
nominees.
you brought up a good point. I mean, we all share the same idea, but you should mention that to some people that are complaining right now. What makes a good Game of the Year? When you talk about
well, it's
stories and
everybody
stuff.
has it's all based on opinion. So it's just whatever people's opinions are is gonna pretty much dictate what the Game of the Year is. But to me, and we've talked about this before, what makes a good game on one of our previous videos. But for me, I want the game to almost make me feel something. I want an experience.
Want your cold heart to beat again?
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's Game of the Year, it's not going to be rage or
I want
frustration.
something new and cool, and nothing was more newer and cooler than Horizon Zero Dawn fighting giant robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow.
I do that every Tuesday.
No, nobody does that. Mario doesn't
I
do
just
that.
said it.
You haven't played
You know
it.
what Zelda did? You know what Link did? He fought the same kind of stuff that he always fights. Actually,
Well,
I don't know. Didn't he have
I don't
what
know,
was
man.
those big red relic things?
They call them big red
What?
relic things.
I can't remember.
It's
Anyway, I don't
exactly
even know
in the
what I'm
game
saying.
manual.
I spent 12 to 13 hours in that game. I still don't know what's going on.
I don't even remember a big red relic thing.
No, it's the little that shoots the lasers or whatever. Has the robot arms.
Oh, the Guardians?
Guardians, that's
yeah.
it.
Okay. I was
See,
thinking like
you
a
did know what I
monument.
was talking
I was
about.
thinking that you had some kind of monument or something. You had
He
to
didn't
go
want to
to.
associate Guardians with anything but Destiny, so he blocked it out.
Yeah.
He's like, I am no longer calling you. I'm gonna call you relic
rock
things
thing.
that shoot lasers.
Laser rocks.
Laser and blazer.
I'm just partially joking about that. I'm sure.
Nah, he's serious. He cursed the
Mario
game.
and Zelda are great games.
Mario is fantastic.
But you do make a good point. I mean, you look at, Mario, Zelda, Horizon, PUBG, Persona 5. It's interesting that only those, I guess, made it, but that's good.
And I can't speak to Persona 5. Jonah can speak to Persona 5.
You've played it. You love that game.
It is.
But I hear
so
amazing
good.
things.
Great.
And what system is that for?
PS4.
So all these are, for the most part, exclusives.
They're all console exclusives. Yeah. Well,
PUBG
PUBG is
won't be-
console exclusive, but it's also on PC.
Right. But we're just excluding that right now. Excluding that, I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you look at it, I honestly haven't played either of those games.
Any of them?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Mario and Zelda, the big two Nintendo, which, won't be a surprise if one of those
It's
wins.
gonna be either Mario or Zelda. I am almost 100% certain it's gonna be Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna scream.
But it's a shame because you look at what Horizon's done with its story, with its gameplay,
But
with
you
its
can't
graphics.
climb everything. I don't care about climbing everything, especially when it leads to nothing.
Sorry. There's a lot of rage. There's a lot of rage there.
I want to go home.
At least a shrine that gives you a quarter heart if you can pass the darn puzzle without going crazy.
But, for instance, when you...
Sorry.
Not to fuel your anger. However...
I think I might have spit on you, so let me start my 3-part apology.
That's all right.
I just wanted to say,
Have you-
firstly, that you're a lovely man.
Oh, you.
Ugh.
You're so nice. But, okay, so, looking at Horizon, PUBG, it's a fun experience. People are having a great time with it. Persona 5, Jonah, you love it. What would you say its strongest asset is?
It's really artistic. It's stylish. Its music is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Level designs are interesting. Later on, it gets a bit long, like the dungeon designs. But in the beginning, it's
Like grindy long?
yeah. It's a JRPG, so there's gonna be some grind there.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, I think it's in the first half of the game's dungeons. It's perfect size.
Now, how would you compare that to the rest of the Personas?
I liked it better than 4. I think I liked it better than 3 also, but I like 3's music better.
Now, does 5 do a lot more than what 4 did story-wise, anything like that?
Not really. No, because 4 had a really great story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, I think it did some things better. Like some of the characters were more fleshed out in 4 than 5.
So, in my mind, based off of that, what you just told me, I'm crossing that off. It's not going to win Game of the Year.
Well, I think there are... The fans of Persona are like hardcore fans of Persona. Like that has a very, very strong fan base.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that, no offense to Persona, but it's a small fan base.
It's
like not like
it's
there's
niche.
not a lot of people that at a commercial level of as far as units sold and people playing it, there's not enough people talking about it.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, that's true.
there's a lot of people that have played it, and like I said, I've heard nothing but amazing things about the game, but nobody's really talked about it since its release.
Mm-hmm. And when I'm talking about that, you kind of look at Game of the Year and you're thinking this big event, like what is seriously Game of the Year? It doesn't, you can't decide Game of the Year on title alone. Oh, it's because it's a Mario game, it should be Game of the Year. I heard, like I said, Mario Odyssey, I heard it's fantastic. It looks fun. I played it for a little bit. It looks great. However, when you look at story-wise, blah, 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 you can always just call it Mario 2017. Same thing with Zelda. Zelda 2017. It doesn't, have this grand story from what I understand.
You're still fighting Bowser at the end of Mario, and you're still fighting Ganon at the end of Zelda.
Mm-hmm. And then
they changed that.
And you look at Horizon now, based on what you guys are telling me about Horizon. To me, I feel like that is the more original game in this.
It's the freshest out of the 4 here, or 5, 4. I'm not counting PUBG.
Freshest.
I refuse to allow that.
Like I like what Mario does, but then again, like you're saying, gameplay wise, it looks fun. There's a lot of cool things you can do in it. It's just, to me, it's just, like I said, it's just Mario 2017.
Yep.
and Zelda. To me, it looks fun. You guys got frustrated with it, actually.
Well, you didn't get frustrated.
I did. I liked the game. I got like halfway through it, beat 2 of the Guardians. I think.
But when you're talking about fan base, like you have Mario fan base, you have Zelda fan base, or just the Nintendo fan base in general.
Yeah.
Now that to me seems bigger than the Persona 5, but then again, like I was saying, if it's gonna be about fan base only, then I don't see why they have to call it a Game of the Year trophy. But
well, I think there's a bigger narrative to all this, and the bigger narrative is that the Switch came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were very feverish over the Switch and what it could do, and a lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people were very skeptical about it, but it was a success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, and a lot of media outlets love it and talk it up and all that other stuff about how great Zelda and Mario are. I don't see a scenario where Mario or Zelda aren't the Game of the Year.
Even though Horizon has an original score, original story.
Because the people that vote for the Game of the Year awards are media personalities.
Mm-hmm. So they're basically like, okay,
they're all gonna, and a lot of the media personalities meet up. Like these are like people that are big time content creators or big time influencers, and pretty much they're all gonna have to try and come and agree upon what the titles are.
Yeah, and listen, I have no specific opinion about any of these games. I'm just kind of break it down into what should make sense when you come down to what should be chosen, not just because this is titled that's titled that, this has this fan base, that has that fan base. Like, what has done something for the game community itself? Like, what game moved something forward the most, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that with Mario. It's a lot of cool ideas in the game.
It's still a platformer.
Yes, but then
it's
again,
platformer.
it's got 10 out of 10.
I had to start from the beginning, just play through it, and I'll let you know if I get to the end. That's when you'll know that's a good Mario game.
Yeah.
I actually go all the way through.
However, we can look at some sort of, maybe a political side of things and be like, Horizon does have a female lead.
It doesn't matter.
You don't think so?
No, I think Nintendo just takes it away. I really do, because there's the narrative of the Switch right now, and Nintendo's knocking it out of the park, or at least by perception.
I agree. I agree that I think it's
the only other one that I think would cause an upset would be PUBG.
Just because of
sales,
how feverish it is. No, it's just sales. It's just that it's a game.
Feverish.
Well, it's a game of
it's the plague.
It was talked about a lot this year.
It's a game of our time because it's one of those games that is really, really fun to play. Everybody says that, and at the same time, it's very, very fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world that we live in, where streaming is a big deal, and we watch a lot of people play on Twitch, it is a game of our time.
Okay.
And I think it has that narrative going for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that game beat Mario or Zelda. But the problem is that Nintendo's Nintendo. Mm-hmm. We're still the people that are the influencers and the content creators are still the Nintendo generation. Mm-hmm. We are not out of the Nintendo generation yet.
Well, I mean, I give kudos to Nintendo. I really like most people, I wasn't sure about the Switch, but like I said, by the end of the year, I'll have a decision, and I want to play these games, but I just can't afford it right now.
Yeah,
maybe next year or something down the road. But yeah, no, you do make a good point with PUBG because, like you said, we're always thinking of what moves the gaming community forward, and PUBG is this huge phenomenon that is spawning games to try to be like it.
Yeah,
and the community is huge for this game. Yeah. So it is, I guess it is a contender. At first you don't think so, looking at it with all these things, but it is.
And it sucks, but I don't think there's no chance Horizon or Persona.
You don't think they have a chance at all?
Not between those three.
You think if Horizon came out now, do you think?
No, because I think they strategically placed the DLC to come out at this time to just have that mentality,
put it back in their minds.
Yeah, exactly. Get that taste in their people's mouth again.
It tastes like Horizon.
Tastes like amazingness.
Rare it is.
But I don't think there's any chance. If it's Horizon, there's going to be such an outcry about who paid off who if Horizon Zero Dawn wins Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the case if anybody wins, really. If Nintendo wins, PUBG fans are gonna get mad.
I'm not going to be surprised if it's either Nintendo titles or PUBG. But you're right. Like if PUBG doesn't win and people are hardcore PUBG fans, yeah, they're going to get upset with Nintendo. But I don't know if any Nintendo fans will get as upset if PUBG wins.
Well, I'm looking at it.
I'll get upset. I'll get upset if PUBG wins.
Look, listen, guys. To put this in perspective, flash forward a year from now. Game of the year for me is just going to be Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care.
yeah.
I don't care what comes out.
Absolutely.
That's like to me that just the way that looks now.
It's done.
The way.
As soon as January 20 something hits, it's over.
That's it.
The rest of the game should just stay home.
Throw whatever you got. Stay home. Throw whatever you got. To me, that's
Call of Duty. Tell them to just hold it off for another year. FIFA. No.
Don't
Get
answer
out
that
of
call.
here.
Call of Duty. No, call us later.
Call us later.
Call us later.
So,
Assassin's Creed. No. Go back to the drawing board. Watch Dogs 3. Get out
try
of here
again.
with
Try again.
that. Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
That's it.
Fighters or
So
however.
let's put it in that perspective. And yes, but I don't know. I mean, we'll find out obviously, but to me, I'm
And
gonna
again, this is only Game Awards for the Game Awards, like the broadcast Jeff Keighley produces.
Yeah.
There's still going to be the IGN Game of the Year. There's still going to be, all the different outlets, Polygon, Kotaku. They're all going to have their own actual winners for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
This is just going to be one. It's just going to be the most broadcasted one that people are going to look at.
And I as of now, I'm gonna say Mario just because of how well received it is. It's been.
Yeah, and I think it hit home. It hit really
Yeah.
recently, so I think it's going to be fresh in people's heads.
Yeah.
And people have started saying that Mario is a game for anybody that can kind of pick up and play it. Zelda has a specific fan base.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think I'll cast my vote for Persona, but I expect Mario to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, Horizon would be my vote.
So, but hey, there could be an upset. We never know. But what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below.
I'm always upset.
Aloy is Bay.
Who?
Aloy is Bay.
Horizon protagonist.
Okay.
Aloy is Bay.
I thought you said like Halo at Bay or
No.
something. Or you were having a stroke. I wasn't sure what was happening.
How would you baha?
Shut up. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's the end of the podcast. I hope you guys had a good time. I had a good time. Jonah, did you have a good time?
Fantastic.
Carmine, did you have a good time?
Yes.
I'm sorry, he's recovering from his episode 2 seconds ago. So, talked a lot of good stuff today. More recent things, little perspective on each. What was your favorite topic?
I hate all the topics. I hate this podcast.
See, Jonah comes up with topics and we just shut him down. Like, Jonah, no one wants to talk about what your favorite flavor fish is.
Actually, these are all Jonah's topics this episode. We
Actually, I think
did
they
something
were.
wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing I got in there was Titanfall, and that was like the last minute.
We gave that.
We have to combine
We
with
felt
one of my
bad,
topics.
I couldn't even get one out. What's happening?
I'm taking over.
I'm losing the production.
Jonah Blast
I'm buying up
Cartridge
the shares.
Blast. Jonah Blast Gamer podcast featuring
Jonah
no one
Blast.
else but Jonah.
I'm just gonna superimpose my face on you guys.
There are no
And then
players.
you put a giant portrait up behind us. Oh, just you.
Jonah. Just staying with his arms like this, just like staring angrily at us. Down
Can we
on
make that
us.
happen?
I could, but
Alright.
I have to take Jonah's
Can we
picture.
make
Oh,
that
yeah.
happen and we'll post it out on Twitter and just get people's responses? Caption this.
They'll probably be like, who is this? What is this? Is he an overlord trying to take
It becomes
over?
a meme. It actually spreads on like Reddit. No one knows what's going on, but it's funny.
Are you a god?
No.
I'm always there. I'm always watching.
Not really.
Then die. So anyway, thanks for watching and or listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, or any app of your choice. I gotta save it for last, so you always have to watch the last video to know what's happening. And you can also find us on YouTube, where we post these videos Friday, Saturday, and Monday. And that might be changing soon. I don't know. We're working on format changes because we haven't been getting a lot of feedback from people. So anyway, thanks for watching and or listening. I'm John for Cartridge Blast Gamers.
I'm Jonah.
I am Zool.
So,
But mostly Carmine.
but on Zool on weekends.
Wait, is Zool?
Yes.
What's her face?
Zool.
Sigourney Weaver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is the other one?
That's Louis Tully.
Yeah, but what is his name for the dog? Well, he's the game master.
He's like Iron.
She's the gatekeeper.
Vince Largo or Vince. Vince Largo or something.
You don't seem sure.
I want to say his speech that he says to everybody, where anyway. But he's
so why does he get a full
Vince.
name and she only gets I am Zool?
Because she lucked out and it's easier to put on a Scantron.
So she like Madonna?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, one came from the fridge, one came from a closet.
Was he in the closet the whole time?
Maybe.
Because that was in the fridge for a while.
Yes. Okay, who brought the dog? Great movie, Ghostbusters. If you haven't seen it, see it. And if you've seen it once, see it again. And if you've seen it 10 times, see it 20.
Yes, they mean the recent reboot.
No.
Thanks for coming, Jonah.
No.
You always know how to ruin everything.
I bought the shares. I own you.
Bill Murray.
Actually, it wasn't too bad.
Bill Murray hates you.
The movie wasn't that bad.
Does Bill Murray like anyone?
Oh, you guys are just really floating this idea that the movie's not bad. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's not the worst
Melissa
thing.
McCarthy and the other Kristen Wiig. Is that her name?
Yeah.
I don't want to give her the wrong name, but those two, they weren't good because there were too much wiggle room to improv, and they did a horrible job improving, and you can tell like they were so off the script that it was bad. But I like the other two ladies; they did an awesome job, I thought, and overall, it wasn't a terrible movie. It was goofy, weird, but it wasn't terrible. And Chris Hemsworth should not have been in it. That was weird, his character. Anyway, where are we?
At the end of the podcast.
Oh, thank God. All right. I'm John for Cartridge Blast Gamers.
I'm Jonah again.
Why can't you be... Why? You're unoriginal. Pick someone else. You're Vince Largo. He is Zool.
I'm just trying.
That makes me Gozer.
I'm just doing my best. This is...
Who's Marshmallow Man?
It's not me. I'm Jonah.
I want to be Winston. Thanks for watching.